Morning, everyone. This is your instructor, Dr. Vaughn, and I'm going to make a screencast video. I like to do these from time to time, and I'm willing to do these by request also. So if you ever need any help on something, just please post a note up or send me an email, anything, and I'll try to make one of these for you as quickly as I can. Today, we're just going to have a preview of some of the homework. I realize this is due today, so hopefully you've gotten a good start on it. This is in the My Math Lab, and this is the homework for section 6.3. So you can see up here that there's 10 questions. This shows you how you're doing on your score. You can use some of the tools that are built in over here. Help me solve this, or ask my instructor, or view an example. You can also look back at the specific references in the textbook if you need help with any of these. We'll just take a look at a couple of these, and along the way, I'm going to talk about Microsoft Word and make some comments about the equation editor, which might help you for your worked out homework, which I believe is due on Friday. All right, so we're looking at question number one. Your numbers may be different. So when Pearson generates questions, they have the same kind of structure to the question, but the numbers itself might be different. So in my version of this question, it says, when 6 times a number is decreased by 5, the result is 49. What is the number? So we can kind of reason through this. We can do this mentally, or we could use a variable and we could set up an algebraic equation, and I'll show you kind of both ways of doing this. So here's the talking through the reasoning kind of way of thinking about this. So 6 times a number is decreased by 5. The end result is 49. So now I want to unwrap all of those things. I want to start with the end result, which is 49. Okay, so if my other thing is decreased by 5, now I need to increase that 49 by 5. So 49 plus 5 is going to get me to 54. So 6 times whatever this number is has to be 54. And so the opposite, or the unwrapping, or the undoing of multiplication of times is division. So whatever it says on the left, that you're creating to get to the end result, you do the opposite on the other side and in the opposite order. So first I add 5 to 49, get 54, and now I divide by 6 to get 9. Okay, so the end result, the number is going to be 9. Now, if you wanted to do this with an equation over in Microsoft Word or something like that, you could do 6x plus minus 5 equals 49. And now you can add 5 to the other side and just kind of solve this algebraically like you learned to do back in high school or middle school or whatever. All right, so when you've typed in your answer, you can always just press check answer. If you get it wrong, they'll let you try it again, and it'll show you, maybe what's wrong. And then you can go on to the next question. Let's skip up a little bit. Let's look at maybe one right in the middle. Maybe we'll look at 5 or maybe 6. Okay, according to the National Center for Health Statistics, in 1990, 28% of babies in the United States were born to parents who were not married. Throughout the 1990s, this increased by 6% per year, 0.6% per year. If this trend continues, in which year will 64% of babies be born out of wedlock? All right, so let's see. I could sit here and take something like this, 64% minus 28%, and get the difference between those. So 64% minus 28%. See, I'll first subtract 20%. That gets me to 44%. And then another 8% after that gets me to, what, 36%. Okay, so we have a net increase of 36%. And that 36% is going to be at 0.6 per year. All right, so it's going to take 10 years for it to go up 6%. And so it's going to take another 6 times that for it to go up 36%. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. So I think that's going to be, the answer is going to be 60 years. Once again, we could kind of set this up with an algebraic equation. And so the algebraic equation in this case would be something like this. 0.6 times x, the number of years, has to add up to be the end result, which was 64% minus 28%, because we want just the increase between these two. So you'd solve this with 0.6 times x is equal to, this is where you get the 36 from. Then you divide both sides by 36, by 0.6 to get your 60 years. Now, this will be the opportunity for me to show you the equation editor. So let's suppose now that you're actually working on your worked out homework for the week. There's this great tool, if you haven't used it before, in Microsoft Word called the equation editor. You got to go under Insert, and then over here to Equation. And this pulls up the equation editor and this great palette of different things for typesetting your mathematics appropriately. So let's go back to this equation that we were just working on. 0.6x equals 36. And now I want to go down to the next line, and I'll insert another equation for the next step in this process. So divide both sides by 0.6 to get. I'm going to just kind of narrate the reader through what I'm doing as I work my way along the problem. And then I can go back and use this equation editor, insert equation. So now I divide both sides. So x is equal to, I can use the fraction tool and put my 36 in the top and my 0.6 on the bottom. You can use your calculator to actually do the division if you want or if you need to. And get the answer of 60. Now, one thing I would suggest that you do in your worked out homework especially, you don't necessarily have to do it when you're entering answers into Pearson, is try to present your final answer with a short sentence. So it will take 60 years at the current rate of increase for the, let's go back and remind ourselves what the context of the question was. Okay, for the percentage of babies who are not married to increase to 64%. So you see what I've done here is I've just presented my answer with a short sentence, just reminding the reader of what the context of the solution is. It's not just x equals 60, it's reminding them of, and this is especially important for application problems because you're using units, you're thinking back about the result of your problem and you're presenting it. The presentation of the answer, I believe, is equally important to the answer itself. So keep this in mind when you're working on your worked out homework. I hope this has been a good introduction to some of my expectations for worked out homework and also how to work within the system of the Pearson. So we did 2 of your questions from the homework today. You have 8 more to go, and I look forward to reviewing your responses. Have a great day. Nice to meet you all, and I'm looking forward to our class. Thank you.